In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Keepa, which is basically the foundation of how to sell on Amazon and understand if there's demand for a product, which is super important, obviously, if you are selling and making money on Amazon. I like to show my sales in a lot of videos just to show you that I'm actually doing this stuff. In the last 12 months, I've done 1.1 million, and today it has been 2,300. And it's close to the middle of the day. Been making six figures doing this for the last 2 years. And this is our first example, laxative. Super fun example. So basically, to get started with Keepa, what you're going to need to do is go to Keepa.com. In order to actually have access to the sales rank, which is what we're seeing demand by, you're going to need a paid Keepa subscription. There's no affiliate link. I don't make money from saying that. It's just the best version of Keepa. The free version, you could just download it and take a look at it if you want. Once you have Keepa, you'll download Keepa from this site and you'll be able to add it as an extension in whatever browser you're using, and then it'll pop up on your Amazon pages just like this automatically whenever you're within an Amazon page. So this is the Amazon page for this laxative. We're trying to understand, does this have demand? Will this sell? How fast is this going to sell? There's a couple things going on within a Keepa graph. Number one, the sales rank, which is what I was talking about just now. So the sales rank is going to be this green line. So we're just going to uncheck some of these to make it very simple. This is not day trading. This is relatively simple. This green line is the sales rank, and if you're familiar with Amazon, you'll know that the lower the sales rank, the faster the item sells. This is around 50 to 45K in health and household. So this is a relatively quick moving item. If we want to compare it to an item in health and household that sells a little bit slower, you'll see that something like this, the green line is going up and down a little bit more slowly and is more up in the 200 to 400,000 range, where this is staying very consistently down in under 50,000 sales rank. If the green line is going down this fast and staying down this fast, we know that there's a lot of sales going on with this. Now, something that's helpful when actually understanding how many sales is this actually is one of these tools, specifically this for this Seller Amp. And Seller Amp, it gives an estimated sales per month based on the sales rank that you are at. You could also use Jungle Scout's free sales estimator for this, or just do a test buy. So this, if we use this section, we can look at the day, the week, the month, 3 months, a year, and all. And so you'll see in this graph, something that is a super good pattern to understand is this sales rank went much, much higher for a period. And that is because in this section, you'll see the amount of sellers on the listing. At that exact time, there were no sellers on the listing, and so the sales rank went higher and higher. So now the other thing we want to look at is the buy box. This buy box is where most of the sales are happening on the listing. So if we see that the sales rank keeps going down around where the buy box was, we can see at this point somebody probably got a sale at $9.90. At this point, somebody was probably getting sales at $12.68, and so on. So at this point, if you were the first to market here, you see that the green line's going down and people were getting sales at $16. Which is really helpful. And, if you can catch a pattern like that and you're sourcing this at $6, that's super helpful. So another thing here is we can add in is Amazon. And there's an example later where Amazon's on the listing where we're going to analyze whether we actually could get a sale on this or not. But in this case, Amazon is not on the listing very much, and it's represented by this yellow or gold right here. And so they were getting buy box at this time, and they were also sharing it as well. And then you can click on to new. Just because there's a lower new price doesn't mean that it always gets buy box. Sometimes it won't be an FBA offer, or something is happening to where the delivery time is wrong and you're not going to get buy box as much. So that's the lowest new price. This is the lowest FBA price, and this is the FBM price. So that's a basic summary of this product. We're going to move on to, well, this was going to be the next one. This is a slower moving item. So we see here over the last 3,000 days, this is the Keepa graph for this. And so it's funny, someone here listed this at 31,800. So if you source this, we're sourcing this item, and you saw that this was listed for $31,000. Does that mean it's actually going to sell at that price? No, there's no actual indication of it selling at that price. What we can do, though, is if we want to look at the last year or so, this is what's going on. So we see here's the used good price, used acceptable, very good, like new. Sometimes that's helpful, sometimes it's not. Right now, I don't think it's that helpful. There is the used buy box, though, which this is probably recorded a little bit further in the past, but around my time in early March, booksellers are freaking out about the used buy box. FBA is not getting the buy box as well. I'm curious if by the time this video comes out, that'll be resolved. Thankfully, that's not my business model, but this is a book example. So we're seeing the green line going down every once in a while. This is a very slow moving item. Over the last close to 2 years, it's gone down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in the last 2 years. So this is going to be really slow. So we see that the line went down here at 35. The line went down here at 36. The line went down up here twice at 162. So probably sales actually happened at that point. It looks like a sale happened at $25, and looked like another 200 and 170, 190, and 70. Can you see why it's important to understand Keepa with something like this? This is not the best example because potentially these people are smart to lower their price so that this item actually sells, because they could have had this in their inventory for over a year. But certain people are selling for $30 and certain people are selling for $170. The thing is on this listing, it's a very slow listing. So we're going to move on to the next example. And we'll take a quick look at this. This is a water jet bath spa. Nice and vintage. So clicking on some of these. Now in the health and household category, you usually can't list as used, so we're really just looking at the new price right now. We're seeing buy boxes all the way up at 165, 155, went up to 173. We can see the seller count. We can see that the seller count is slowly going down over time. We can see that the green line is going down. There's getting sales, a couple sales a month, maybe several sales a month. So this is not a fast selling item. This is a little slower, and there's people on the listing, but you'll probably get a sale if you list this for sale. So now this one is a very different listing. This is a very popular Revlon hairdryer and styler, and this is 135 in beauty and personal care. So this is a very fast-selling item. And here's another feature that we haven't talked about yet, which is this monthly sold section right here. And so on items that will sell over 50 times a month, let's see, was it not on this one? It should have been on this one. Sometimes it doesn't show up. But on this one, for example, this is saying 10,000 sold per month or 20,000 sold per month. So this is an extremely fast-selling item. As the sales rank gets closer and closer to 0, it's going to just get exponentially faster and faster, assuming it's a main category and not a subcategory. So a main concern with this listing is, are we going to get the buy box because Amazon is on the listing? And so we can tell that in a couple different ways. You can hover over the buy box and you can see who is getting the buy box at that specific time. So we're hovering, we're seeing mostly Amazon. We saw this dude got buy box, this guy got buy box, again, got buy box. We're seeing Amazon is mostly getting it, except people are getting it sometimes. The thing to understand, though, is that if there's 40,000 sales per month or 20,000 sales per month, and you can just get a little snippet of it, you could probably sell through 10, 20 units just like that in a day. That's one way to look at it. Another more detailed way to look at it is this data tab and the buy box statistics. And you can filter this by 30 days, 90 days, 180 days, and 365 days. So if we're looking at the last 90 days, we're seeing that Amazon is getting 89% of the buy box, which that is absolutely nuts, because if you are getting 20,000 sales a month and third-party sellers are getting 11% of sales per month, that leaves 20,000 times 11% of sales to third-party sellers. So let's just do the math on that right now. 20,000 times 11%. This listing still gives 2,200 sales a month to third-party sellers, according to this 90-day stat. Now, if we looked at 180 days, it's actually a pretty similar statistic here. If we're looking at 30 days, even less. Wow, it's Mr. Peekaboo. How do you keep in stock? Mr. Peekaboo is going to retire off Revlon hairstylers here. And that's another thing you can do, is you can click into a seller's store, and you can see certain things about their store here. You can look at their storefront through Keepa if you want to, and they are a hairstylist. Crazy person. They got all the listings. And we can see here that this person, lifetime reviews, 1,300, so they are selling a lot of stuff. If we go in here, there's a few more features of Keepa that we could talk about. We can go into offers. If we're wanting to get a little bit more idea of how fast things are selling for people, we can click on the condition that we're looking at, click historical offers, and you can take a look at the graph of how fast things are selling for people. And so just taking a look at these numbers is a little deceiving, because sometimes people will list an item and then they'll take it out of stock, and that'll show as a sale in here. What we're looking for is something like this, where they had 30 in stock, and then we see boom, 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 they're down to 30, and then they're down to 22, and that looks like a realistic what sales could be like on this listing. And so obviously some people are just completely in stock and not selling, but potentially that's because of their price. And so all of these things that we could take a look at to understand what's going on. Another thing we can take a look at is the variations. We see that this listing has variations, and so another thing to take a look at when understanding demand on a listing like this is that this sales rank is for the whole listing, including all of these items here. So what I was saying about this monthly sold is going to apply to the whole listing. So if we want to know how much this listing gets, this is the black red. And we can go to variations, and we can go to, where is the black red? Which one are we on? Oh, it's black. Okay. Yep, so that one. So it's this one, and we can see what percentage of the reviews are going towards this listing. So 5% of the ratings. Yep. So 5% of the ratings are going to this, or 10% of the reviews. We can see that the reviews continue to go up for this specific item. So you'd want to do all that math that we did based on getting 5% of this. And this is never going to be exactly perfect. This is just to give us a ballpark of what's going on. Except, okay, so this is another listing. The black listing has the most attention here. If we go into this one, yeah, so this is the one that gets the most. Yep, so this is the one that gets 66% of the attention of this whole listing here. Anything else to take a look at? This is what we're looking at when it comes to demand. This is the main things here. You can track products and get alerts for when they go back in stock at a certain price. Some people's business models are completely around that. I don't do a ton of that, so I'm not going to talk tons about that. And then with Keepa as well, you can do some basic searches through the data section and product finder. And here you can enter certain parameters about sales rank, buy box, Amazon price, brand, condition. I'm not going to go into that right now. We're really just talking about the demand. But hopefully this was a helpful video. If it was, please subscribe and leave a comment down below. Have a great rest of the day and take care.